Hello, my name is Striketh, and I'm going to show you how to play solo lane Odin in a game called Smite. If you aren't already aware, Smite is a third-person MOBA game similar to Dota 2 and League of Legends, except it's more action-based and doesn't rely on an isometric camera, which tends to be more pleasurable for many people. In Smite, you play a number of gods, which are similar to heroes from other games. Teams are made up of to 5 people, and the gameplay is based on intense strategy and coordination in order to achieve a goal. Right now, the current meta is for someone to always be in the jungle, which is the forested area between the 3 lanes on the left, middle, and right. This means that one of your lanes will typically be 1 versus 2, which can be extremely difficult if you don't have a coordinated team. Basically, the role of the jungler is to get all of the buffs in the jungle to supplement the experience and gold you would gain in the lane, while also ganking the lanes regularly. You'll see some examples of ganks as the game goes on. It's important to remember that with the recent changes to jungling, you're encouraged to share the buff experience with your teammates. Basically, when you go to get a buff that's near someone's lane, they should come over and grab some of the experience, since you will still get 100% of the XP, while they also get a chunk of it as well. With the current meta, you'll see that I'm building the Boots of Midas. Typically, before the last patch, I'd have built Warrior Tabby or Tank Boots if my lane wasn't faring well. But with the Boots of Midas being introduced, there's absolutely no reason not to get them, especially as a support character. Basically, the Boots of Midas give you extra gold, unless if you don't get them, then you end up being way behind in gold as the game progresses. While you do start out a bit weaker in the beginning of the game by choosing them, so long as you're careful and don't die, they pay off in the long run. There's times where I've outfarmed everyone in the game just by having the Boots of Midas. Now, with Odin, you really want to build him as Bruiser. The key to surviving in your lane is by playing smart, paying attention to the map, and setting up ganks in your lane. You want to coordinate with the jungler and whoever is playing mid on this. Since you're also solo, your lane is pretty much always going to be pushed up. You want to play passively, as aggressive play will just get you killed repeatedly. Hug your tower, kill creeps, and try to block incoming enemy shots, since early in the game, they won't really hurt you all that much. Because the enemy has you push up to your tower the whole time, this gives you ample opportunity to get a gank going. One of the best gankers, as you've seen so far in this game, is Thor. If they don't have wards up and don't hear him ult from the jungle, the enemy will be completely caught by surprise when he lands in their face and starts a spin to win attack. As a solo laner, you basically want to be ready to immediately follow up on the jungler's initiation. With Odin, this basically consists of doing a leap in, popping your ult, and then, if you have it, using Creeping Curse on them to slow their movement speed while you beat them senseless. Now, one thing that's important to remember is that if the enemy is missing from your lane, you should only push it to about halfway on the map. The reason for this is since if you push it too far, you run a risk of being ganked yourself. Also, if the enemy isn't in your lane, this means that they're elsewhere, most likely causing trouble for your team, so you don't want to just sit in lane and do nothing. One of the worst things you can do is take pressure off the solo laner and allow him to roam. Whenever the enemy gives me this opportunity, I'll go to the other lane to participate in team fights, which is typically detrimental to the other team. Now, this completely depends on which god you're using, as not all of them need it, but I really like to get Hand of the Gods when I'm solo laning, even as Odin. The reason for this is that if you end up pushed hard in your lane, you can still hold it with a well-timed hog, which will take out an entire group of creeps. You can also use this later in the game for quickly finishing off the Gold Fury and or the Fire Giant as necessary. Active items are all situational, but I never feel that Creeping Curse is a bad pick on a god like Odin. As mid to late game comes, Odin in particular becomes quite a beast. He's very tanky, even built as Bruiser, does respectable damage, and has no problem tower diving. You want to be the initiator for your team, setting up traps and luring people into your ult. Just remember that it's extremely easy to trap your own teammates in a bad situation, so be careful when you use your ult. You can also press 4 again at any time to end the ult early if the enemy dies or escapes, so don't forget about that. Also, a good trick to know is that you can use your ult to trap enemies in it, and then immediately leap out and run away, leaving them trapped in your ult for the duration while you and your team safely escape. I'll leave off here and give you guys some background music for the rest of the match. If you guys have any questions about Odin, solo laning in general, or any of the other gods that are suitable for solo laning, please feel free to ask in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and this is Striketh, checking out.